Yuval, we're broadcasting live now to everyone. We'll just do a sort of a very brief intro. I'm going to be controlling the slides, so I'll do my best to make sure we keep moving at the same speed. But if you need to sort of prompt me to push on, then please feel free to do so.
Will do. Do we have everyone already joined, or you want to wait, let's say, 2 more minutes for 10:10 to start?
I think we're good to go based on what Laura's mentioned in terms of the attendees so far, and we are going to record the session as well, so we can recirculate that later on for everyone that's perhaps registered but not able to attend. Excellent.
So do the intro. I'm good.
Okay, let me just make sure the slide deck is moving. Excellent. Okay, that seems like it's all working. Perfect. Excellent. Well, first of all, thanks for joining. Good morning, good afternoon, depending on where you are based in the world. Really glad to be on this call today. We'll probably take up about 45 minutes of your time. There will be a chance to answer some questions or ask some questions at the end in a Q&A session. I believe there should be a Q&A feature built into this webinar call, so feel free to pop those questions in and we'll do our best to answer. We're going to start off with Yuval's part of the presentation, taking you through PPC Winner as a business, looking at e-commerce strategy, going into Q4, some guides on PPC and advertising, and the importance of data and reporting. And then WorldFirst, we're going to have a look at the currency and currency account management side of things. A couple of things to be considering over the next few months. A lot of geopolitical and economic events that are going to shift the way the currency markets are viewed and are running. And again, this will impact how you run your business internationally. So things to consider, and a couple of ideas to go forward.
Thank you, Alistair. Okay, so hi, my name is Yuval Ben Nun. I'm the COO of PPC Winner, which is an exciting company. Basically, we're an agency that deal mostly with PPC on Amazon. We deal solely with PPC on Amazon, which is, we see it as a profession. You know, we're Amazon sellers that have been selling on Amazon for a long time. And a couple of years ago, it hit us that some of the things can be automated, and not everyone has this extended understanding of PPC and advertising on Amazon, and they need help. So we developed an AI technology basically that helps you manage your PPC on Amazon and helps you manage your advertising on Amazon. Our experts, even when we're providing the full service of fully managed PPC management, using our tools, our unique tools, and helping you stay on the top of the game. When one of the key things with this technology is that you get in a 24/7 optimization cycle, which means you're always on top of the game, you're always being updated, your keyword research, your keywords are being updated, your bids are being updated, and you can see the performance going up very fast. And again, depends on the market and the items, but it's very cool and cost effective. We're managing today thousands of campaigns, and when you're using our tool, you don't need to have any understanding of PPC. You just need to have your bids or let's say your budget and whatever you want to promote, and everything will be done for you in the background, the campaign, the keyword research, and everything. Alistair, can you move one? So after giving a short introduction about PPC Winner, we're having a lot of challenges. We always have challenges as e-commerce sellers, as especially as Amazon sellers, as this environment keep evolving and running forward so fast. And especially 2020 is a very unique year. You know, we have this COVID-19 cloud over our heads, even though we can see the sun out there behind those clouds. But the challenges are becoming, maybe not becoming, they're adjusting, they're different, and we need to adjust and be flexible as well. Now, one of the things that we see is that, and I talked with people and I got different estimations, but there is a feeling in the industry that all this e-commerce market basically jumped 15, 20 years ahead, with this COVID-19 effect. So we need to be on top of our game. We need to be flexible. We need to change the way we think. You can see here a list of things that I think that are very important heading Q4. One of them is all this inventory management. When Amazon just had, I think they released a couple of weeks ago, new guidelines limiting quantities and timing when you can when you can ship into the warehouses and new inventory. So, and also you have those fines if you're having too much inventory and you're not selling. So you need to be prepared with a 3PL solution, with a third party that will help you move faster your inventory and maybe even provide an Amazon seller fulfilled prime. Because with Amazon new guidelines, you can find yourself on Q4 in the middle of the holidays that you can sell a lot, and all of a sudden you'll be stuck without the inventory. So find your supplier, find your the way to manage your inventory. Very important. Look at your financing, how to manage your inventory along with your financing. I can tell you that a few years ago, when I just started to sell on Amazon, I didn't understand the meaning of Q4. It was new for me, and I wasn't prepared. And all of a sudden, I woke up to a day from, I was selling maybe 100, 200 units a day. And all of a sudden, I woke up for 1,000 sales during the night. And I was, wow, so my inventory won't last for more than a week. So what should I do? So I started to go and find out how can I finance it. And today there are many options from the banks through companies like Transigo, for example, that we're working with. And you can find them on our website on ppcwinner.com. You can find them offering financing to our clients and anyone that needs. One more thing, which is very important heading Q4, and it's important, and again, keep an open mind, is you should look on what happened in the past. You should look on your data. You should look on the markets. You can go into Google Trends and see what was sold in the past. Don't forget also that with the COVID-19 in the air, let's say what happened during 2020 is people are moving and staying more at home, and they're looking for more items to buy that will be used at home, even gym equipment. We saw an increase of hundreds of % of gym equipment to be used at home. Games, toys for kids, books, many things. All of a sudden, many segments rose, while other segments like outdoor maybe, and outdoor activities and traveling and all kinds of things are maybe less interesting right now. People might buy them as part of a dream that we will start and travel again soon, but right now it's not there. So you need to understand your data. And one of the things about your PPC heading Q4 is the preparation. You need to be prepared. You need to start and collect your information about your campaigns rather sooner than later. Meaning, if you're not running a campaign right now, you should start and run them. And the last thing, which is related to the changes in the market, you need to adjust your product line. If I'm selling items which are, office supply, and now we're heading Q4 and we have COVID-19 in the air and the holiday seasons and all other things, maybe I would consider to change a little bit my product line, or maybe to create some kind of bundles that will be more interesting to be used at home or to be used as a gift. Also with your gifts, my suggestion is to try and push and adjust your product lines and your bundles and offer your clients to and promote it to buy those things now, because as I see it in the market, because people don't know what will happen with the second wave and maybe the third wave that are coming of COVID-19, then you might see a movement in the market that people will start and do their shopping a bit earlier. So you should be prepared. We can talk on each and every one of these things for a long time. I'm sure you have a few more. I hope it will just open your mind. And the most important thing is, whatever you're planning, have a plan B and maybe even a plan C, because life is always stronger than our plans. And also you can see that specifically the first 6 months, 7 months of 2020 showed that nothing is written in the stone. You know, nothing is. Things might be changed and might change very fast, and you should be prepared. Alistair, can you move on? So let's dive in a little bit about your advertising on Amazon. So one of the things that you need to make sure is that you improve and adjust your listing. Heading Q4, you should look into your listing and maybe add more keywords which are related to Amazon Prime Day, to Halloween, to Christmas, to the Chinese Bashar Day. There are many days and events that if you'll change and tweak a little bit your listing and you will improve them, you'll get better results. You should do your keyword adjustments as well. Be relevant to the period of time and look at what is frequently used. There are many ways to look into these things. You should start today doing your keyword research and doing your testing of your campaigns. So you'll be ahead of the game and you'll have your data as what's working and what's not, and Amazon will have time to index your keywords and index your products in a better way. And if you have historical data, then use it. And if not, use what you have right now and try and find some in the market. There is a big question always as per when and how and which keywords to drop or preserve. Now, this is a question that when there is no right answer about it, because when you have, and I can give 2 examples, for example, and there are many examples within this range. The first example can be a very new product in a new store and that we don't have much history about it, and there isn't maybe even a lot of competition, and we don't know exactly how it will behave. So most likely we will be more tolerant regarding as per the keywords. We want to drop so fast keywords and we'll keep them for a while to see whether they're working or not. But if we're going into a more mature product that we have a history, we know how it used to behave, we know how it used to sell, we know what were our bids, and we'll find a keyword that is basically generating clicks and not generating sales and not converting, then most probably we'll drop it much, much faster and we'll preserve the ones that are working. When we have a more mature product also, I would do very, very gentle tweaks in things and won't touch it if it's working. You know, if it's working, then don't touch it. And the last suggestion that I have to you and the last recommendation is use all the tools offered by Amazon. If you're a brand register, then use all the tools offered as a brand register. If you're not, then there are many options of placement and how to place your ads and your bids, and use all the characters allowed by Amazon, all the pictures allowed by Amazon for your listing. Use whatever tools Amazon are offering and to improve your campaign. So if you look on all this about advertising, it's all about, again, being on top of the game with understanding your listing, using what Amazon is offering in the best way. And we have our experts here that can help you understand it. And if you don't, but I think the main thing for every business owner is to understand his business. And if he doesn't understand specifically how to read some of the data, to use an expert to help him. Alistair, can you move one slide? So the big word, ACOS. Everybody are talking about their ACOS, how to improve our ACOS, how to reduce our ACOS, which will basically reflect our profit. So when you're looking on an ACOS, the first thing that you need to do is make sure that you have a good conversion. Meaning, let's say that I brought 100 people to my listing, but only 20 of them will buy, then most probably my ACOS will be much lower, much higher, rather than if 80 people would buy. So I need to check my listing, as we discussed earlier. I need to improve it. If needed, don't be shy. Just take someone. Don't be embarrassed. You know, not all of us are doing marketing content. Just take someone to write your listing, to improve your listing, to have the right keywords and the right visuals. Take someone to take proper pictures if the pictures are not that good. And you can see it very easily whether a listing is converting or not. Make sure that you're doing an ongoing basis optimization of your campaigns, and understand your business, understand your keywords. All of us have a limited budget, at least I have, maybe some of you don't. So when we're having a limited budget of advertising, we would move our budget towards products that are working better, that are selling more, that the conversion is higher, and to see the campaigns that are working and also direct more budget towards them while trying and improve the others and then maybe move budgets back. But don't keep, just in the sake of thinking that I have 10 items, I need to promote them all. I'm taking $100 per item per day, or it doesn't matter, or $100 per item, I don't know, for 2 days. And I'm trying to promote them all. If we have one product with enough inventory that's working better, then let's move more budget towards there. You can see here on the right this graph. So this is an example of a client of ours. It's a small account that started to sell a specific item. And what happened is that we started to use their brand registered, and we started to use video campaigns. And here you can see that the client was patient enough, and basically he's working with our experts, and he has a full trust and understanding of our expertise. And after being patient for a few days, we all of a sudden saw how this campaign started to rise and move fast compared to what it was. So when you're using these kind of tools, for example, this is a cheap tool to drive traffic. Same you can do with, for example, with one-word campaigns and all these things. So you need to understand your ACOS, you need to understand your campaigns. Alistair, can you move one? Alistair, thank you. So we have those two great tools that basically they're free tools on our website that will help you understand your ACOS and improve your campaigns. The one on the right is basically an ACOS calculator that you just put in your numbers, how much it costs you, the item, what are the costs around it, and you'll get your ACOS break even. And then you know that if you're selling for a higher price, or for a higher ACOS, you're actually losing money. If you manage to sell for a lower ACOS, you're making money. So this is very important to understand your ACOS. On the left, you can see the one-word grouper that basically you will get the results that will show you which keywords are working, which keywords are more frequent to be used. And then you can launch your own one-word campaign, and you'll get cheaper traffic in a very easy way. Those two tools are free to use. You can just go into our website and go under free tools that you can see here on the top, and you'll be able to run with it and use it. Of course, anytime if you have any question, we have on our website the ability to contact one of the experts, and you can get 20 minutes free consultation that you'll talk with one of the experts about your account, about what you can do, how to use the tools, and everything else. Alistair, can you move on? So data and reporting. I'm getting back to this because this is very important. Is you need to understand your data. You need to understand how your account is behaving. On the right here, by the way, you can see a screenshot of one of our sellers that started to use PPC Winner automated tool. And as you can see, it took a few days, and all of a sudden he started to sell. We got a very excited email from this client with a picture of him in a jacuzzi having fun. And he said, listen, I'm letting PPC Winner manage my campaigns from here on. But this being said, still you need to analyze your data and understand everything about how your account is behaving and how the items are behaving and how the competition is behaving. And especially heading Q4, you need to be checking this information on an ongoing basis, weekly, sometimes even days, and you can talk with our experts. We have a very unique tool that called Super Analyzer, that when you're uploading your campaigns, results, and your keywords, you're downloading a report from Amazon and uploading it, you're getting a very extended report that will help you understand your data. I'll show it to you right now. Alistair, can you move on? So I'm very excited to show you now Super Analyzer. This is a tool that we're actually launching it right now, and you're the first one to actually see it. It gives you, this is the dashboard of this report, that basically after you're uploading your information, it will take you less than a minute to get the results, and you're getting 40 different results with insights and tips, and you can see everything that happens into your account. You may have these red flags that are not always red flags, but they're like announcements that you got this, you got that, you have this problem here, you have these search terms that are performing better than others, and you can find very easily a way to reduce your ACOS and to reduce your wasted ad spend. So, and by the way, for the participants of this specific webinar, there will be a link attached, and that you can schedule a call with us, and you will also get this report to be used for you to evaluate your business at least one time for free. So it's like, it's a giveaway, and we'll be happy to give it. You can find it on our website and contact us about it, and you can use the link in the coupon there. Alistair, can you move one, please? So when you're looking on the Super Analyzer, what it includes, you'll get a summary of your sponsored products. You'll see different analysis on the campaign level, on a match type level, of your keywords, of your search terms. You will see, we saw in some cases, like I told you, for example, with my client, that it was a very big account, so this is why I remember it, that we started to use this tool for him, and we saw that 2% of his ad spend is generating, 2% of his keywords are generating 80% of the sales, and all the rest, 98% of the keywords, were generating only 20% of the sales. So after doing optimization of the campaign, we managed to move a lot of money to the right keywords, a lot of ad spend, and sales went up, ACOS went down, profit went up. It was great. So we have here an analysis based on ASINs as well. We will find for you duplicate keywords if you have, and you'll have the ability to get to know your ACOS, get to know your business. This is a report that I recommend to run, especially during the holidays, more than once a month, and get to know your business better. Alistair, can you move on? So when you're managing PPC, and whoever of you that have done it on their own, or trying to understand what their employees are doing, or their ad agencies, it's like, it's a big nightmare of numbers, a lot of numbers, a lot of reports to deal with. And when you're using these kind of tools, and I think that the Super Analyzer is a unique tool, you don't see, I didn't see another tool like this anywhere. There are many tools which are great tools, but this one is like an extended tool just for PPC and analyzing your campaigns. So, and you get in there special tips. You can look at your competitors and see what they're doing and how to stay on top of the game with them. You'll be able to understand whether your campaigns are on the right direction or not. And you always have the ability to consult with us and go through the report together and analyze it and improve it. And I can show you results that when we looked at the report one time, and then we implemented some changes and optimizations on the account, and then we ran it again in a couple of weeks or even less, then we saw the results very, very fast. So it's impressive. Alistair, can you move on? So those are a few examples on this slide and the next one of different insights that you're getting from this report. It comes like in 20, 30 pages of PDF that you can download for yourself, or you have it online on your dashboard, and you can export it into an Excel and analyze it yourself if you want. And you get in a lot of insights as per the search terms versus asins on a campaign level. You see here, it's a lot of information. Can you move another one? That's another example of another 6 different reports of the match type of targeting, broad match. So you get in all this information, and you know there is a lot to do with it. Every time I'm looking on an account after talking with the client, the first thing that we're doing is we're just running this report, and all of a sudden we can see the metrics. We can see what to do there very easily. Again, unique, and I think worth to try it. Can you move one? And last least, this is Chico. He's my dog. He's coming to work as well every day. And as you can see here, he's exhausted because we're trying to work so hard for excellence here. And you have a special offer here for the webinar participants, which is a free 20-minute consultation with an expert. On the chat, we can share here the link. I will share here right now, but I think it will be also on the publications. But you can just press on the link, and you'll get a direct access to my calendar, just to schedule the 20 minutes with me. And or you can just contact us directly. You can use you have here a WhatsApp, which is our business WhatsApp, that will also reach out to me, and you'll be able to contact us and ask more questions and get more insights. Specifically for Q4, there is a lot more to be said and to be analyzed, I think. Thank you so far.
Thanks, Yuval. It's perfect. Yeah, I think you touched on some really interesting points, particularly on the business side of things. You know, with any sort of event, regardless of whether it's good or bad, there are always going to be opportunities. And like you touched on, so many e-commerce businesses have been on the right side of that conversation, and it's so important that there's a strategy. And again, you use that one of my favorite lines when I speak to our clients. That, a plan is certainly better than no plan. To kind of sit there and hope things work out can leave you in a bit of a sticky situation. So we'll move on to WorldFirst. Some of you on the call will already have accounts with us. Some of you will have never have heard of us, but to give you a bit of background, WorldFirst is an international payments company. So we help businesses both on Amazon and your typical SME businesses, also private customers, move money between different currencies. It doesn't always have to be internationally. It can be domestically. So lots of our clients will use our product to move, euros within Europe or dollars within America, wherever it needs to be. And we've been around for around 16 years now. We were started by two foreign exchange consultants who were working at a big high street bank, providing this kind of service to an array of different companies, and wanted to extend that offering out to the rest of the market who were unable to achieve this unless their business turnover was large enough. So one of the biggest things that we help customers with is obviously the current understanding the currency side of things. The last 4 months have been tectonic in terms of the volatility, the levels of fear and unknown quality. So we just wanted to dive in quickly into some of the key themes that we may see over the next few months. For sterling, again, been a really interesting time. The British economy, or the British pound, so to speak, is in a very unfortunate position in terms of the overall risk. So Brexit, it certainly hasn't gone away. There was a hope or an expectation that the COVID quarantine period would give both the UK and also the European Union time to potentially extend negotiation periods to have another run at getting things right. That hasn't been the case. So there is more pressure on sterling than there was prior to COVID-19, because timeline is counting down, or we're running out of time. So the Brexit story hasn't really changed. We're still looking for key headlines in the market. It's very much the same story that we've looked at for the last for the last 4 years. But on top of that, we've got the threat of negative interest rates, which is still a very experimental byproduct of effectively a market crash. It's not been widely used before. It's not really widely understood. The Bank of England have given the market some relative assurances that they don't see negative interest rates as a situation in the short term. But again, they have said they will continue to monitor the economy and work out where they need to go moving forward. So for sterling, obviously the concept of Brexit remains a threat. The negative interest story will not go away anytime soon. And on top of that, the UK economy was hit very hard during COVID-19. There's a lot of conversations going on in the background around the rescue packages that are going to be, or have already been, unleashed to some of our big industries. So the overall, again, very similar to a lot of other places, a lot of uncertainty and a lot of worry, but that Brexit conversation is keeping sterling very, very soft at the moment. And if you look at GBP Euro, it's been around the 110 mark for the best part of 4 or 5 months now. With the euro, again, the euro's had a really fantastic run of strength over the last few months. A combination of interest rates in the eurozone having and will be kept very low for what seems like almost an unlimited period of time at this stage. There is almost no appetite to see any sort of interest rate action from the European Central Bank, and because of that, the euro has a sort of a safe haven status. When investors or traders are looking for places to hide, stable interest rates are a key factor, because they will ensure there are supposedly no surprises down the road. On top of that, the EU Recovery Fund, which was collaborated and agreed on, was a really positive step for the markets. The European Union has often picked up criticism that there are too many countries, there are too many opinions, too many economies to make any sort of collaborative decision quickly. But the EU Recovery Fund, which brought together some of the polar opposites, Germany, Netherlands, Italy, and Spain, who all have very differing views on what's an appropriate level of response, that agreement has been completed, and again, just showing the rest of the world that the European Union is able to collaborate and move forward quickly on something very, very complex like the recovery fund. So the euro has been enjoying some good strength over the last few months, particularly against the US dollar. The US dollar, main thing in the medium focus is going to be the US elections. Again, a pretty sizable risk event. If we think back to the previous election in America when Donald Trump won, the markets actually were relatively muted for a couple of days around that event. I think there had been some pricing in beforehand, but again, it was a similar story to Brexit. There were many commentators, market analysts, people who work at very high profile positions within investment banks, telling us that Brexit won't happen. There's absolutely no way that Trump will make it into presidency role, and all these things have kind of come true. So, like Yuval said earlier, it's very much a case of expect the unexpected, have a plan, understand how these currencies are going to affect your future earnings, understand how they're going to impact sales in different economies in different countries. On top of that, the US dollar as well. I think the US economy has again received a lot of negative media attention about the high levels of unemployment, also how they've coped or dealt with some of the breakouts of COVID-19. Again, the media's job to a certain extent in the financial markets is to spread fear and to create stories that sell papers. So it's hard to kind of cut through all the fog to see what's really going on. But from what we're seeing, the US economy is really struggling on the ground. However, if you look at US stocks, ETFs, funds, they're all performing really, really well. So there is a big disparity between what's happening on the ground, or what's supposed to happen on the ground, and then what's going on in US stocks. But whilst US stocks are doing very, very well, a byproduct of that can be to see things like US dollar weakness. It's not unusual. So effectively, it's almost a funding cycle people who've got reserves of dollars will be getting rid of them to put them into things like US stocks, or they'll be putting them into commodities like gold and silver, which over the last few months have really taken off. So loads going on. I think it's really important that you consider how these will impact your business. Myself, and there's a big team of us in our London office, around 12 or 13 currency account managers who look after a wide array of clients. Some of them are Amazon sellers, some are SME businesses, and others are private individuals, but very keen to make sure if you have any questions around the currency side of things, that you don't just sort of bury your head in the sand and hope it goes away, because the level of volatility that we saw during March, if we do see anything similar again, it won't be unusual to see a 10, maybe even a 15% move in the markets. Now, if you imagine you're selling into a different country and you've got relatively tight profit margins to begin with, those kind of moves can make an entire overseas venture either very, very attractive because of the currency mover, or if you're unlucky on the other side of the coin, you'll find that it makes the whole venture a real painful experience. And we want to make sure that we help customers and clients understand where they're exposed. So the product that we work with, particularly in the Amazon space, is the World account. It's our primary product for businesses that want effectively a single platform to do a multitude of different things. The first one is to get payments to and from your suppliers. So for example, if you have a holding of US dollars and you're buying a particular product in the UK or Europe, we are getting those payments to those suppliers quickly and cheaply. I'll touch on the pricing element in a few moments, but there are three real elements that we help companies with. So one is getting the money to where it needs to go to, and also receiving payments back the other way. The second element is making sure that your future business profits or revenue, turnover, whatever it needs to be, are protected. So forward contracts are a very simple tool that currency brokers offer. They allow a customer to effectively sell an allotment of currency for a date in the future. So if you have a prediction of sales that you are anticipating in a foreign currency, you have the ability to secure the notional value in another currency for a specific date and time. So if you, as Yuval mentioned, if December is a particularly strong trading period for you, you're estimating 300,000 euros worth of sales in a particular region, but you need a lot of that back in sterling, or you need it in dollars, you can secure those FX rates now and take delivery of them in December. Again, very simple tools. There's a lot of literature on forward contracts online. It is very easy to get bogged down in all the detail. They are beautifully simple tools to protect companies against adverse movements. They're not designed to speculate. I think, again, that's probably where a lot of the confusion comes in. People see them as a tool to try and speculate. It's the exact opposite. It gives you complete certainty as a business owner, as a finance manager, whatever your role is, that for the next period of time, this currency is going to cost this much money, or it's worth this much in another currency. On top of that as well, opening up local accounts is another specialty of the World account. If you were to walk down the high street or go online and try and start opening banking currency accounts, you'll be met with a huge disparity in timings to get them open. You'll be hit with a range of different fees, maintenance fees, and a lot of other costs associated with it. So one of the sort of the beauties of the account is to open up a virtual currency account. So if you wanted to start selling in America or start selling in the UK, to open up a sterling account, you would log into your World account, you would request a virtual account, and within a few moments you will have a GBP UK-based bank account in your name that you can then immediately plug into your Amazon accounts. You can plug it into your invoices that you're sending out to your customers, giving them a localized account to pay into. And the localized piece is always important for us, because when you're doing business in different regions, different countries, having that localized account will make it more familiar. Customers in the UK, yes, they could send sterling to an account overseas, but they're going to get charged by their bank. They would much prefer to send sterling to an account that's based within the UK borders, because it will be free, cheaper, and it's more familiar to them. So the pricing piece is really interesting. If you have ever made a payment internationally, I would challenge you to ask you how much you paid for that transfer. And I don't mean the actual fee. A lot of companies and banks will charge you a flat fee, i.e. £25 per transfer. That is effectively the administration charge. When we talk about the pricing, we're looking at the spread. So again, it can be an alien process to a lot of people that are getting started with their currency payments, but effectively, you have a wholesale rate available for currency pairs that is moving 24 hours, 5 days a week. It's very difficult to keep track of that because it moves twice a second. There are lots of websites that will show you an aggregated rate. Places like Yahoo Finance or Bloomberg, for example, will show you where GBP USD is trading. It'll show you a single rate. That doesn't factor in that there are two buy and sell rates built into that. When you go to the bank or another broker and ask them for an exchange rate, they will take the wholesale rate and they will minus or add on a percentage difference. And that percentage difference will give you your exchange rate. So to give you an example, if you went to your bank and said, I need to move £100,000 to US dollars, the market wholesale rate may be 1.30. They will take away, let's say, for example, 2% from 1.30, and they will say to you that your exchange rate is 1.2820, for example. So that transaction is costing you £2,000 per £100,000 to make that transfer. You don't see that money taken away in terms of a fee. It's built into the exchange rate. So when you're booking your currency transfers, if you don't know where the wholesale rate is, then you really have no idea how much you're paying for that transfer. And unfortunately, the currency markets for the last 15, 20 years beyond has been the opposite of transparent. It's very, very difficult to get out of institutions what your margin is. You could roughly work it out with a calculator and doing a bit of guesswork, but it's unlikely to stay consistent across the year. One time you might pay 0.5%. The next time, if you speak to a different person at that exchange, you may be closer to 1%. So what we wanted to do, and this started last year, was create 3 very simple pricing points for all of our customers, regardless if you're an Amazon seller, an SME, or a private client. These are the 3 buckets. So you know that the most you'll ever pay for your currency transfers is 0.5%, and then it moves up as the volume increases. So again, very transparent and very easy for customers to then make a decision on how much is my FX costing me, and am I effectively getting a good deal. So lots covered there in a short space of time. If you have any questions from the currency side of things on potentially what might be happening in the markets over the next few months, if you want to look at forward contracts and what we would call your hedging strategy, or you just wanted to do a quick comparison between what you're getting at the moment versus what we might be able to offer, please do reach out. So we'll send an email post webinar with all our details on to include that in. We're just going to move on to the final Q&A session before we got in fact, our emails are on the final slide, which is good. I think I've got a couple of questions that have been sent through. They're going to be geared towards yourself.
Alistair, I want to say one thing. I'm sending here on the group chat. We created a quick coupon free for all participants here to get basically those 10 reports for 100% free. So they can just use this coupon that's been sent on the chat right now, and they'll get it 100% free for the first 10 reports. So that's something specifically for the participants of this webinar.
Perfect. That's excellent. I can see that coming through. So hopefully everyone else can. If not, we'll also share it post webinar with the follow up. So there's a question here. It's relatively generic, but it's definitely something you should be able to answer. So when it comes to marketing, what is the top thing that Amazon sellers should be considering?
When it comes to marketing, from my experience, and as I see it, e-commerce became like it's a new age, and you need to focus on your customer support and doing business in an honest way. Meaning, if you're selling goods, make sure that it comes on time and you're delivering what you promised, and then most likely you will succeed.
Perfect. There's another one here, slightly more technical. So if we were to advertise on Amazon on a listing that we aren't the only seller, if the customer clicks onto the advertisement and doesn't buy the item from ourselves, will we still be charged for the customer clicking onto that ad?
Yeah, that's one of the problems. That when you're, and again, that's the differentiation between when you're selling on an ASIN that you're the only seller, or maybe there are two sellers and you're exclusive. But when you're selling, it's usually more related and more relevant for brands. And when you're selling something which is branded, usually you'll have more than one seller. But this is one of the things that when creating your listing, you need to create a specific listing or a bundle that will make you unique and will move you away from the competition. In order for your advertising to be better, you need to move away from the competition.
Okay, perfect. Another question here as well. So for new starters on Amazon who are launching their first product, do you think getting a PPC company like yourself to do the campaign is a wise decision?
When starting, it's a wise decision anyway, because you need to push your account and you need to push your product. But on the other hand, you need to understand that when starting, even when PPC, there is no magic there. You need to work for it. You need to invest money. It will just help you ramp up faster and get better exposure and get on the top of the SEO faster on Amazon. It will be a combination of the actual SEO of the item inside Amazon with the pushing of the advertising. It will make you move faster. And again, depends on the item.
Okay, excellent. Yeah, because I mean, like you touched on earlier with the consumer spending habits, it has fallen very much into the three distinct buckets: to protect, to connect, and I guess to a certain extent, to promote as well. It's really interesting seeing how you mentioned the gym equipment. I mean, I was by complete potluck acquired a spin bike and some weights in early January, just to have in the flat. And after that point in time, I think everyone that knew me had said, how did you get your hands on those products? And I said, well, I did buy them slightly before, but it was impossible to get anything along the sort of the health and well-being line. It was and it still is now to a certain extent. A lot of the sort of fitness and gym equipment is there's a huge backlog of orders.
There is a big short in gym equipment, even in the retail stores. I went to buy some things, and you can see that things are being taken off the shelves very fast. Not only online, because people want them at home, because they're not sure when there will be a second wave or third wave and what will be the restrictions.
Yeah, and I think also as well with the pressures that we've seen on the logistical network over that particularly sort of scary part in March and April, it could very, very easily happen again if we start to see further lockdowns and that bottleneck take. I mean, I'm no expert in the Amazon side, but I can imagine it must take months to unwind the backlog of orders if you're trying to run enormous seaports on limited crew. It's just an impossible task to get it done quickly and safely.
Yeah, I agree. More questions?
I think that's it for now. I mean, there was on the currency side of things, I'll throw one out that a lot of customers ask us around the sort of I touched on it briefly, but the hedging element. So it is something that a lot of businesses will tend to avoid looking at because of the things like deposit requirements, because of things like margin call, or if, I guess to a certain extent the scariness of them. They can come across as very complex financial products, but the forward contract was originally designed by the banks to allow businesses to acquire their stock ahead of time. So if we use a business, for example, if we use the fitness and health sector, if you had a business that was based in London and they are buying static spin bikes from China in US dollars, they will need they have a requirement to purchase up to $1 million worth of bikes over the entire year's period. They don't have enough cash flow to pay for all of it up front, because they're obviously waiting for the sales to go through, but it is staggered across the year. So the forward contract will allow them to sit down with their currency account manager and say, based on last year, based on our current forecast and the demand, we're going to need north of $1 million worth of equipment over the next 12 months. We don't have the cash flow to pay for it all up front. And what the forward contract will do is allow you to purchase those dollars for a date in the future, and then effectively draw down from them. So what you're doing is you're buying them, reserving them for a future date. It doesn't mean there's any repricing or any speculation around the rates changing. They are physically bought with the bank and effectively just parked under the sofa until you need them. And then as your sales continue throughout the year, or as you need to purchase more and more dollars, rather than having to go back to the live currency rate and pick up more and more, which will be at varying rates, you know that particular 12-month spin bike project that you're working on is going to cost a total of 800,000 sterling, for example. So I think it's just really important when it comes to looking at not just what you're doing now, but in the future. What does that currency strategy look like? And play around with the numbers. The volatility that we saw in March, it became extremely tough for a lot of businesses to continue to purchase their products. If they are budgeted with their current prices at a rate of 125 on GBP USD, when we were down at 114, it was an 8 or 9% drop in the currency market. So if your profit margins are at 8-9%, you're then having to face a repricing project, whereas your competition may not be. Perhaps they're naturally hedged, perhaps they've had forward contracts taken out, who knows? But ultimately, it can provide a real headache for businesses if they're constantly having to reprice their brochures, their products, purely based on the currency market, because it is relentless, it's unforgiving, it moves twice a second every day during the week, and there are, like I mentioned at the beginning, a number of significant risk events coming out over the next 6 months that could have a fairly sizable effect on the market. So there's a quick question on the currency side. So do we offer local currency accounts for Chinese currency and Indian rupee? So Indian rupee, we can't receive payments in right now. It's certainly a product line that's on the on the roadmap, because the e-commerce industry in India is massive. We can make payments out there with relative ease. So sterling, euro, dollar, whatever currency you need to exchange into rupee, not a problem. And yes, we do have a world account that is for local Chinese currency. It does depend on where your business is based. That can restrict the type of account you can get access to. But again, if you've got any sort of initial inquiries, do send me an email, and I'd be more than happy to put you in touch with one of our account managers to take a look. So both our emails are up on the screen now for everyone to take note of. Yuval, is there anything else you'd like to touch on?
No, first I added here in the chat also, if someone will send it also in the email, but the WhatsApp, if they want to ask questions directly afterwards, then they're more than welcome. I want to say something I've been a client myself of WorldFirst for the last 6 or 7 years. And at the end of the day, I saw how the market evolved. And I think that WorldFirst today is in the top of the game, both from the rates and the service offered, with some unique abilities that are not offered by other competitors. So I know that people will say I'm biased, but that's an honest opinion.
That's very kind of you. Yeah, it has been and will continue to be a very diluted market, the international payment space. But we feel like we've done a very good job of securing a very good product, a very good service, and just a good track record of working with the right partners, yourself included. So appreciate the kind words.
Okay, thank you.
Excellent. Well, I think that's it. Well, I'm really glad everyone's tuned in. There'll be some follow-up emails after this with links to the recordings for anyone that missed it, and we'll also try and just include the web links that Yuval sent through earlier in case anyone wasn't able to receive them. But have a good rest of the day and the rest of the week, and please do reach out to us should you have any further questions. Yeah, and you're more than welcome to use from the chat and from the email the coupon that you got here and the link. Thank you. Thank you, Alistair. Pleasure. Thanks, Yuval. Take care. Have a good one. Bye-bye.